So, hello students. Let's see this very important question in JavaScript. What is hosting in JavaScript? So, whether you are appearing for the any big MNC interview or it's a startup interview, you are definitely going to face this question. What is hosting in JavaScript? So, in the interview, if we say it's a JavaScript's way of moving the declaration to the top of their scope. So just by saying this, it's correct, but we should add some extra details. What is the extra detail that will going to help us, will give the extra edge in the interview? That was what is hosting? So hosting, it is memory allocation step or memory allocation step before the execution. Memory allocation step before the execution. So what do we mean by this thing? See, our JavaScript code will run in two phases. So what are the two phases? One is memory. The one phase is memory creation phase. The first phase is memory creation phase, and the second phase is execution phase. So just to make you some similarity, just some so that you can correlate it with some other things. So just for example, if we work with C or Java language, there we have two phases. One is compile phase and another one is execution phase. So in the compile phase, all the things are happening, and then we have the execution phase. Here in the JavaScript, we have modern JavaScript engine like V8. They do the just in time some compilation, and there is no extra compiler we need for JavaScript actually. So what happens? See, when we try to run the JavaScript code, when we try to execute the JavaScript code, the JavaScript engine scan and compiles the part of our code right before execution. And this creation phase, is called as hosting or memory location. So this thing happens just before the execution starts, or we say just before the execution context is created, like the call stack calls and all everything. So what happens exactly? So from the name only we can see some memory creation phase. We are creating memories. Okay, so the variables with var keyword or the functions, they got allocated memory. Okay, the var keyword, the variables with var keyword, they got stored with undefined keyword, undefined data type, undefined, and functions are stored uh, as it is. I mean, entire function is stored. Entire function stored. So just okay, we want to execute some code. We press the execution or we press the execution or run button, and just before the execution we are having one memory creation phase. Actually this memory creation phase is what we are saying, this is hosting. So let's see this thing by one example. Now let's see this example here. Okay, here we can see there is nothing, no print statement, nothing is there on the console. So we have a variable, we have a variable a, that's its value is 9. Okay, we're trying to print the variable a's value, and here we are trying to print variable s. Okay, but we are declaring, we are defining this variable after this line. Okay, similarly there is one function is there, say hello. We are calling one function, but this function's definition is after the call. So let's see one by one what will happen if we if we try to run this program, so if we go to source, let's say if we put a breakpoint here at the first line, and if we try to run, okay, we are at the very first line. We are at the very first line. Here we can see that this variable a, this is a global object. In this global object we can see this a variable is undefined, as we told. Okay, all the variables starting with a var keyword will be allocated to the memory with undefined status or undefined data type. So, and what is variable s? Do we have s variable? Yes, s is also there, and this function say hello, it is stored the as entire function here. Okay, so one thing is there important that we need to see. Currently execution just started. We are at the first line only, but this s variable, it is there in the memory. Memory is already allocated to this s variable. So let's say if we check the console, okay, if we print this, if we go line by line here, so now variable a got the value 9, okay, and nothing is there in the console. If we go, okay, next line, okay, now if we check 9 is printed, fine. Then next line, okay, see here now we do we executed this line console log s. Here we are saying, okay, it is undefined, correct, this is undefined. And if we play the next line, okay, now see, let's see what is s variable. Just after executing this line, we got this value, okay, s value is 5. But see, the print statement console log is undefined only, and when we cross this line, variable s is equal to 5, after that we got this 5 value here. And next is we have this function call, let's say, so function call console log, fine. Let's go to console hello from the function. Okay, so this is the proper function, that we are calling. Okay, see here, this function getting called before the definition is below, but we are calling this function. So again, as we saw, okay, what is the with the help of hoisting or the memory location step, just before the execution, we know there is one variable s, and there is one variable, and there is one function say hello. So we are not getting any kind of error actually. If we see some other example, let's say if I say console.log, if we say console.log b, some variable that is not defined here, and if we try to, let's say if we try to run this program, let me just take this thing at the very top, console log b. So here you can see we got this error on the console, uncaught reference error, b is not defined. That is correct. So but with this variable we know, okay, the JavaScript knows, okay, there is one variable s, that is defined somewhere with var keyword. So before execution, the JavaScript will allocate some memory for this s variable, and that is why we are not getting error on this statement. But before execution, the JavaScript is not able to find any definition or declaration for this variable b, because it's not defined, so we are getting the reference error. And this is the pure function, let's say this is the pure function say hello. There are other ways are there to declare some function in the JavaScript. Let's see. Okay, let's see. this function say hi, okay, this function will give the type error. Let's say hi, okay, this function will give the type error. Why this function will give the type error and this function does not give? Because here you can see this variable, this function is stored in this variable only, say hi, okay, and this thing will be stored as undefined actually. So if you try to run this thing, so okay, let's see, okay, let's see one by one. Say hello, no issue is there, but when you say hi, okay, we got some error there. Okay, say hi is not a function because this thing is stored as a variable only. This thing is stored as a variable only and we are getting this error, say hi is not a function. So this is one issue. Similarly, if we define a function with arrow, if we have arrow function, that will also give us same issue. So now let's say we have this arrow function, say hey. So again you can see this say hey, this function, this is also stored as a variable only. So if you try to call this function before you have defined it, so here also we are going to face the same issue. Let's see, say hey, okay, now we have the error. Let's go to the console. Say hey is not a function. So if okay, we should not so the hoisting will not work like this. So it will work for the var keyword, the variables we have with var keyword, and the proper function we have this in the JavaScript. For these things the hoisting will work. Even for the let or const for those keywords there is a separate story. They go in the temporal dead zone. That's we will cover in the next video. So this is all we have for the hoisting part. So we have seen the examples also. So next time in the interview, if you're trying to say if you're trying to define the hoisting, so just instead of saying that we are moving the declaration to the top, we should say okay, it's a memory allocation step just before the execution. So thank you so much.